Butterball turkey, butterball turkey.
Butterball turkey.
My name is Donovan, and I sing in Sianvar.
My name is Sergio, and I play guitar.
My name is Michael, and I play bass.
I'm Joseph, I play the drums.
I'm Will, I play guitar.
We got together in July, mid-July, but the idea sparked from a text from him in about April of last year.
I just thought it'd be cool to bring together a lot of my favorite elements of this group of bands that, you know, we've been playing with a lot and developing a scene with, and just doing something really crazy and fun that would attract attention to, you know, all of our bands, and also be just something that could stand on its own. So it was just an idea, but, you know, Sergio liked the idea too, and I think he talked to Donnie, and when we threw around like Joe and Butter's names, and things just like clicked together really quickly, and the project was recorded and written within like a few weeks, and it just like really happened in a flash. And it's still surreal that we're out on tour right now, when I never even knew if this project would, you know, come to fruition.
We didn't have much time. I had to go out on tour with Strawberry Girls and my band Stolas, but we had about 3 weeks to write and record because I had to leave, so we had to get drums done first before I could record. So we wrote everything in about a week from all these ideas that were being thrown around. The last day of writing was the day before we had to go into record.
We started drums on a Friday, and I loaded my drums in and did it in an afternoon, and there was still, although we knew the songs, we knew what the songs were, I was essentially still flying by the seat of my pants, which is actually kind of what I wanted out of this, was to just have an idea, a structure of the songs in our heads, but then go into the studio, and I mean, it was really enjoyable. We were laughing and just trying out crazy ideas, and I was just kind of going nuts in the studio to kind of see what happens, and it was cool. It's kind of what we all did in some ways.
I think coordinating our schedules and figuring out when we could record or even never do a tour was like, it seemed like it would be one of the biggest obstacles, but looking back, it really never played any part, and the recording went quicker because we were like, we got to get this done before we get too busy. Same thing with booking a tour. We're like, oh, we have this block where we're not doing anything, let's do a tour, and it just came together really quickly. And I think that, you know, fear of not being able to get things done has actually pushed us to make things happen, and you know, that's how this tour and all this stuff has just come about.
I don't know this for sure, but I've always felt like Mars Volta has this really simple but crazy way of writing.
Yeah, I pulled a lot from bands like At the Drive-In and Mars Volta, just those influences, the different types of songs on the EP too. Like, for instance, Your Tongue Ties, a lot more of a poppier song. And I've always been a huge fan of Daryl Colombo's work in Dasha and Head Automatica. And so it's kind of thinking that style for a song like that, or just both, I guess just the melodies in terms of, you know, thinking outside of what I would normally do. And that's kind of what happened on that song in particular.
All of us have like multiple influences and styles. I don't think anybody in this band really is like influenced by one thing. So when coming together, I was just kind of coming from the perspective of I was going to see what everyone else brought to the band as far as their direction, and then I was going to try and just add my parts that were kind of, you know, my style, and see if I could push the music in, you know, different directions against what everyone else is doing. And it was, you know, and I think it worked out really well because it was just all, you know, quickly happening without really any thought. You know, they just somebody writes a part, and then it's like, how do I make this cool and not sound like the way it's sounding? You know, now let's change the texture of it or something. And I think on Your Tongue Ties, I kind of wrote a bunch of those parts from wanting to do a sequel to Don't Tell Dave, DGD song, and it just felt really good for this band, so I kind of moved over that sequel and those parts to this band, and I'm really happy with how that song turned out. So I think it's almost like Don't Tell Dave too to me when I listened to it, just musically. But then with all the things that everyone else did over it, it changed it from anything that, you know, I would have done with my other bands. So it was cool to see how, you know, different group of musicians completely changed like my songs that I wanted to, you know, that I had an idea and vision for.
One of my favorite things about the writing process, even though it was a short one, is exactly that. The reason why it was so short is because we were following our musical instincts a lot. I mean, we were just kind of like, you know, we were essentially, when we wrote these songs, we were kind of jamming exactly what felt natural or felt good to do next whenever we were playing the songs. And I think that musical instinct is something that a lot of people overlook. People worry too much about what's going to be the most technical or the most mind-blowing. At least I was just kind of following what felt natural to do next, and everybody kind of followed suit, and that's why it worked.
We didn't really have time to worry about what was cool.
We thought about it, we worked hard on it, but we didn't overthink anything.
I think we trust each other as musicians too enough to, you know, make sure it all works out.
When we thought about the prospect of writing together, it was exciting, but there was no way for me to walk into it to really anticipate much at all. I was just kind of, it was really unique to see it unfold, you know, for all of us. I don't think it ended up exactly how any of us pictured, which is kind of a good thing. You know? So,
very true.
We released the EP just a couple days before this tour, and so it was really crazy to go out and play shows where the kids already knew the songs and lyrics. So, and that was pretty crazy.
The response has been awesome.
It's been so crazy.
This tour has been fat, and everybody, I guess if I could say anything, I'd thank every person that's come out to these shows and hung out, and it's just this tour, the vibe of this tour has been so good. Yeah. It's just the friend tour.
For Sianvar, it might be one of the only things we do. So
at least for 2014, it might be, you know, all our bands happen to be free in this small window of time. Even a lot like Birds was busy, and we were lucky enough to be able to go out with them. But we're going to get busy with our other main bands, and so this might be the only tour in some time to do it. So it's really cool to come out. It's kind of surreal, like Will said. You know, we recorded last August, and we're in Michigan right now on a tour. So it's been awesome. Thank you to all the people that have come out to the shows, like Joe said.